Hola a todos, ¿qué tal? Un día más en las conversaciones con Lemon Tree. Tenemos el placer de contar con un programa de arte. Welcome everybody, and let's say hi to Candida Cave, who's the founding principal of Fine Arts College in London.
Hello. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. And to start, tell us about Fine Arts College. Where is it? I said London, but where is it? You know, how long have you been teaching students? What kind of teaching do you do? Tell us a little bit about Fine Arts College, please.
Okay, so Fine Arts College is in Hampstead in London. So it's in North London, in a beautiful part of London, because we are surrounded by green. We have Primrose Hill, we have Hampstead Heath, we have Regent's Park, all within 10 minutes walk. So it's perfect, but it takes only 10-15 minutes by tube to get into the centre. So we're very central, but we're not congested, which is lovely. We've been going a long time. We started in 1978, and in a small way, we only taught art and art history at that point for 4 years, and that's where the name came from. In 1982, we opened it up to all the liberal arts. So we teach all languages, modern languages and Latin. We teach history, geography, mathematics, business studies, and then all the creative arts like fashion, graphics, fine art, photography. We teach music, we teach drama. So what we try and give our students is a very full education in both the academic and the creative. We feel that even if someone, and students end up by being lawyers or by being in some sort of industry, but they come back and visit us, and they will always say, actually, the most important thing was having this very open, liberal education. We also, if you look on our website, you will see we have alumni that include actors, musicians, entrepreneurs, quite a few quite famous people, because I think that what we try and make sure that the students have when they leave us is confidence, a belief in themselves, and a love for an area of education or creativity. So we teach in small groups, usually at sixth form, so that's ages, if students are 16, 17, 18, they're in groups of up to 9. And so therefore there are enough students to have good conversations, good discussions, but they have a very individual education. We have a few or less students who are in the younger years, so 13, 14, 15, and they're in groups of 12, because that we find works better in terms of their learning process. Students come to us normally for 2, 3, or 4 years. But some of our international students come specifically to do, if you like, a pre-foundation or portfolio course.
And that's really interesting to and I'll ask you in depth about that in a bit. So basically you focus on preparing students for A-levels and IGCSEs?
Yet they do GCSEs,
Okay.
not really IGCSEs. In one or two subjects they do IGCSEs, but we prefer GCSEs because there is an element of coursework. And for some students, to have the continuous assessment as well as the actual exam is very important. So we prefer doing GCSEs. Each year, about 25 students take GCSE exams, but about 90 students take A-level exams. So the sixth form is much bigger. In terms of the subjects that we teach at A-level, there are 26 different subjects.
Wow.
So a student can do fashion and textiles with Latin and philosophy and drama. So you can mix.
Yeah, you can do everything.
Yeah, which is great. There are students who come to us who know or who think they know that they really want to be art historians. So they will do art history, a foreign language, French, Spanish, Italian, German, and then one other subject that could be history or could be another creative subject like photography. And then we have students who really don't know what they want to do. They know that they don't want to. I always ask them the question, what don't you want to do? And usually it's, I don't want to work in an office, or I don't want to be a policeman. Those are the most frequent don't wants. So the rest of the world is open to them. So if they come and they're good at art, but they really love languages, we always say you do 2 academic subjects at A level and 2 creative ones, so that after the 2 years, they can either go down the creative route or the academic route. So it works well.
Yeah, no, definitely. My way of thinking is similar to that. Don't close doors. You're very young. You want to explore. That's what this age is for. But you said something very interesting, which was, we get lawyers, businessmen that have been our students, and it's something very interesting in the UK system, how you can become an investment banker having studied history.
Yeah. Yes.
Why is it so important, or why does it add so much value? And I'm implying this already, to study those kind of areas, the artsy path for life and for and especially right now, where society is going. In your opinion, why is it important?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, education should be for life. And I think that if you only study for a profession, you become quite a dull person. And I think that in England, to be a lawyer, it is better and considered better to do a degree in history or philosophy and then to do a conversion into law, so that you have more hinterland, a greater breadth. And I think that goes for everything. I mean, in England, we had 2 serious lockdowns where people were in their houses and they had to work on their own resources. And I would see parents of students, after we were allowed the freedom to actually meet physically, who would say, it was amazing. I learnt the guitar with my daughter. and we had such a good lockdown, or we turned the shed in the garden into a little studio. And I've learned, this is the mother or the father speaking, and I've learned exactly how to do graphic design, etc. So I think that, you know, to live, my view is to live a full life. The more holistic your education, the better. So
it's a good thought. What would you say? Because arts are typically more of a passion driven path, you know, where students have sometimes a more clear idea of they want to go that way. Do you think it's better to like follow your dream, or and this is a little bit more like the system is saying, or be more realistic and useful, you know, and
but I think you can be both. I really do, because as I say, I think that students, when they're 16, 17, 18, they should not just do creative subjects. They should not just do academic subjects. It should be a combination, because it balances you. And I think that one's dreams sometimes come to fruition. I mean, we have students who, you know, this last couple of years have got recording contracts. That's wonderful. They're, you know, 19, 20, 21, and they're making records. But when they're 40, they probably won't be making records. But that's why it's important to do the other subjects, which they may be turning to. I mean, one of the boys who got a very good recording contract, he was doing economics, maths, and music. So he may go into the city after he stops being a pop singer.
yeah.
So, but then there are people who start off by, they go to university, they study history, they go into some sort of job in industry, and then when they get to about 40, they suddenly think, well, actually, what I really want to do is XXX, and they then have learnt those skills, those techniques of painting or literature or something like this, which they then move into that area.
Not too long ago, I learned that I think it's the CEO of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon.
Yeah,
he's a DJ and producer
I love
of
yeah.
electronic music, and
Yeah.
managing this, you know,
Yeah.
financial, enormous, gigantic company, you know.
Exactly. And you see, the other thing that I think in terms of education that's so important is that you can learn skills, and you can learn academic skills and useful skills, as you put them. But what about the imagination? And the imagination is what drives entrepreneurs, that makes people think in a, you know, to use a very boring phrase, but it makes people think outside the box. You have to have that imagination. So I think to combine the techniques and the skills with the imagination and creativity is the ideal. And when you say that people come with a passion, sometimes they do. Sometimes by being in an environment where other students are passionate, they become passionate. And that's why we like having the younger students, because they come to us when they're 13, 14, 15, and they see the older ones who stay until 7 o'clock at night in the studios, and they're really loving their subjects and they want to be like them. So it's, I think inspiration is
Yeah,
what's needed.
definitely. And the reason I was talking about this is because in Spain, families think very different. You know, they are more, let's say, the traditional way. More, I'm pretty sure you're very used to some Asian families too that are very like, okay, yeah, you need to play the violin, the trumpet, the piano, but you need to have a 100% score in math and science, and you need to become a doctor because otherwise you will be no one in life and all that. That's a little bit the mindset in Spain. It's changing, obviously, but a lot of the times when we work with families, they are not as open as I think they should to educational options like what you offered at Fine Arts College. So tell us a little bit about the environment, because sometimes also when you say London and being in a big city, parents say, what's it like? What's it like living? What's the campus residential environment for the students?
Well, I've said we're in Hampstead, which is a lovely area. The main buildings are around a courtyard. So it's an enclosed courtyard. It's very pretty. It was a Victorian dairy. So it's, has some history, which is nice too. It is as much as one can say with any city, it's a safe area. So I think that students either come with their families when they're younger students. There are younger students, we don't like living in hostels because we're not residential, but we have a very good relationship with nearby hostels, one in West Hampstead, one in King's Cross, but it's the West Hampstead one that is so popular with the students. But they don't go, but international students go there when they're 17.
Okay.
Before the age of 17, we say they should be living in host families or with their parents or with a family member. I think that we chose the hostel because it's 20 minutes walk or 10 minutes by bus. It's in another very good area in West Hampstead of London, and it's safe. So those are the important things. We are a day college, but there is quite a lot of homework for all subjects. So we encourage students not to go out in the week, to go out once in the weekend. So if their work in any way goes down, then we get in touch with their parents, their guardians, to make sure that they have the right structure to their life outside the college.
Cool. The classes are more, you said they have a lot of homework, but what's the emphasis of the college? Is it more theoretical, more practical? Is it a mix of both?
A mix of both.
A lot of projects.
Yeah, a mix of all those things. So that, say, if we take a typical student who is doing, say, maths, art, because they think they might want to be architects, and then English and philosophy. So doing those subjects. To do maths A level, you really, we say you have to get a certain grade at GCSE, really an 8. We will accept a 7, which is an A, but we prefer an A star or an 8. And they will have a good foundation, but at the same time, they need to do, for maths, I think you need to do repetitive work every day. For their art, the art studios are open until late, 3 days a week. And so if the students are working on big paintings, or if they're working on fashion where they need sewing machines, they work here, but and stay late, or else they may do some of their work at home. And then with the other two subjects, the art history and philosophy, they probably for each subject have about 6 hours homework per week. So they really do have their time cut out for them. And when we interview the students, we make sure that as well as fulfilling their career dreams, they also love the subject enough to want to be doing it. So, for example, if they're doing art history, their homework 1 week will be to go to the National Gallery, to stand in front of a painting, to write about it. So that's not stuffy homework. That's lovely homework, you know.
Totally, especially if you've chosen that course.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're going to be an architect, you really need to have art history. So, so when we interview, it is also to make sure that, like you said at the beginning, the student does not close any doors. The only thing I think I do say to students, that if you want to be a doctor or if you want to be a vet, this might not be the best place for you. So those are the only two things, if you're so scientific. But if you want to be an accountant, if you want to be a businessman or businesswoman, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to work in the city, this is the right place for you, as well as if you want to be an artist, a novelist, or a brilliant actor or musician.
What if you have a super high goal of, I want to get into Oxford or Cambridge?
Yeah, I mean,
how do you? I'm pretty sure you get a lot of requests like, "Oh, I want to get into this school or that other school."
we do.
How do you handle those things?
Well, last year, 3 students got into Oxbridge. One was studying English, one studying music, and one studying philosophy and theology. So pretty academic courses. We also have students who study at Edinburgh or Durham, LSE, UCL, the Courtauld, all these places. Every year they go to those. So those are high academic places to go to. We have people, and that's straightforward, actually. Every year people apply to Oxbridge. Sometimes they get in, sometimes they don't, but that's straightforward. Much more difficult is students who want to go to drama school, and they want to go to RADA, or they want to go to Guildhall, and it's like 1 in 400 will be accepted. So that's the difficulty. But we have students who do go, but that's a difficult one. They have to be really good, and they have to work really hard to get in. Music college is quite straightforward. Students always get into music colleges. Art schools, art universities, everyone knows of Central St. Martin's. Everybody wants to go there. Some people go there. It's not the best for some students, and we have to educate them, I think, about places like Kingston or LCC or Ravensbourne, really good colleges, smaller, more personal. So that's part of our job, I think. But we love students to have high aspirations. 66% of our students who applied for academic courses this year got into Russell Group universities.
Wow.
So, you know, they do well.
And so basically, if if I was a student, a teenager, wanting to get my A levels in the UK, and looked at Fine Arts College, I should be thinking, am I a motivated, passionate, and willing to be proactive and give or go the extra mile? That's basically what you're looking for in a student.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it's what, in a way, it's what universities look for.
Okay.
The other one thing I would say that we really look for as well is people who are going to enjoy being with other students and being taught. Because if you have someone who is academically brilliant, but don't like sharing their education with their, with their either their classmates or their tutors, they're not very pleasant to teach. And I mean, we when students apply for university, we always give them mock interviews, and before their interviews, we say, look, you're going to be accepted on whether the universities think that they can teach you, and you're going to be a pleasure to teach. And that's a little bit how I interview. I like to make sure that the student...
That's a great approach. I've always told students they're going to analyze if you can add value to the university or not. Obviously, being able to teach you something, and if it's going to be easy to teach you, is definitely a really valid point. Because a lot of students that are high achievers are really stressed out all the time and anxious and grumpy and
exactly. And I mean, I think that you don't have to be like that to do very well. Totally. I think a student who is happy in the environment, happy with the subjects, happy to with the idea of give and take, is going to do really well.
Totally. So you said you have a portfolio program, and this is something very interesting, because normally students from Spain, want to apply to more, to careers that or degrees that request a portfolio, and they go like, oh, I don't have anything. I didn't know I had to create a portfolio. I did my coursework and I have my grades. So a lot of them end up needing these courses. And your institution is predominantly British students. You also have some international students. Who goes to do the portfolio program? Why they do it? What do you offer? What can they achieve if they take this program?
So the sort of students who do the portfolio are two types of students, three types probably, but British students who have maybe done physics, maths, and chemistry A levels, and they don't want to actually go on with that. They want to go to, say, Central St. Martin's. So we have those students. We have international students who want to do a degree course in England in a creative subject, and they need to have the techniques and the portfolio, both, because if you go straight on to a degree course, which our portfolio students do, they need to have learnt the techniques before. So we have those students, And then we have this year, interestingly, because of COVID, quite a number of students who have finished their A-levels in England, and they feel that they've missed out and they want to spend a year before university doing a full-time course. So the way that we organize the portfolio is we interview the student first. The student may say, I did maths, physics, chemistry, I want to do fashion. So we build a program which, if they're coming for a year, they can take the A-level in fashion or art, and it's a 4.5 day a week, so it's pretty full time. They do some life drawing, they do some photography, some graphics, they do contextual studies, so they learn about contemporary art so that if they have an interview, they can be good at interview. And it gives the student an opportunity to build up a portfolio in lots of different areas, to really find which area is the one that they want to focus on, and sometimes to take the A-level in that subject. Applications for degree courses are made at the same time as all university case applications before January, but the portfolio is usually presented in about March. So one has a good amount of time, 2 terms, to produce the portfolio. If the student is going to incorporate the A-level, then the 3rd term when they focus on the A-level as well.
Okay, cool.
So it's good, and it's quite small. We never take more than 12 students, so we keep it nice and focused. Yeah. Nice.
Well, thank you very much for all this, beautiful information. I think I'm a firm believer that these kind of creative itineraries are more and more useful, especially looking at the future. And we have a mission to kind of share with all of our students, parents, and people that follow us information so they know, because a lot of the times they don't know. So all these conversations are really valuable.
Well, I really enjoyed actually talking to you and explaining about it. We would love to have a few Spanish students over here. We go, when there's no COVID, we go to Madrid every year on an art trip. So
nice. To the Prado, to the Reina Sofia, to the...
Exactly. So yes, we would love to.
Okay, so next time you come, let us know, and maybe we can organize something with families so they can talk to you directly.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe with the students,
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be a great idea.
Organize an inspiration night.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Candida, founding principal of Fine Arts College in London. Thank you for watching the video, the conversation with her, and talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you very much.